just tow it out of the way. I'll tow it over to my wash area. One of the nice things about something so small like this as a lawnmower, this is really just, you know, it's just a lawnmower. It's not a tractor, it's a rider, sitter, is you can just lift them up so easy, and it just sits right on its butt. So when you want to work on the belt or something, it's even easier than the snapper. It's a little rusted, but it's not bad. It's in very good shape. Get it cleaned off, get it deloused, debugged, and this is still around. I did one a few years back. It's silver, a little bit more, bigger engine on it, whatever, and it sold for a few $100. Pretty gross. All right, I started cleaning it. All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to clean a little bit more, and I'll bring you guys back in. I'd like to take some of the outer parts off the engine before we get started on it. I can't get air in the tires. I even tried ether. When they're off their rims for too long, you have to take them off, and I have a different technique. So we'll do what we can. Yeah, let me just keep going. It's supposed to storm, so I figure I'll just keep going, get everything as clean as I can, and then we'll bring it in. And now, a word from our sponsor. And in today's episode, fellas, we will be using once again the Tiander provided Mr. Leanne's pressure washer. And I have to say, it's still going strong, so I want to keep you fellas updated on that. You know, it's out here again, and I just keep using it, and we're just going to keep at it with this thing. So far, so good. That's the Mr. Leanne's. I'll put a link down in the description somewhere. That's getting cleaner. There was some water in the gas. There's also some water in the oil. I just grabbed that tin because, well, it was easy. Right? We need something to capture it all. Let that drip, drip, drip. Yeah, like, well, I'm not going to say it. It was really hard to get the gas tank off. It's like clipped on, and then the dipstick is in the way. I even took the cap off. And you gotta like pull it up real hard. And of course, I broke a nail. Yeah. And now look at this. I know it was filled with water. Oh, it's not looking good. All right, let me keep going. I got to get this thing off somehow, right? Because that's got to come off because we can't get to the bolt at the top. All right, so I got to get those bolts back there. What are they? Looks like regular bolts. Looks like screws, flathead. All right. There we go. Oh, big Spidey in there. We'll get him. A couple Spideys in there. See you guys in a bit. Alright, let's see. Let's see if it's locked. No, it's not locked. That's good. Don't worry about the crunchy sound. That's the stuff down there. Down there. Alright, Tecumseh. But that carburetor, we might be able to get a carburetor. I don't know. It looks like it's a slightly bigger one. It looks like a snowblower carburetor. Kinda. Let's take a look. Let me show you. Let me show you. Now, since water was running into it, and water was in the fuel, yeah, I'll have to get you to look at it. Oh, that's locked. That choke is locked. Yeah, so she's going to need a carburetor. I don't think she needs anything else. She needs a carburetor. She needs an oil change. Look, that's nasty, right? That all has to be clean. All right, so what I'm going to do is put this down the other way. We don't want any more water going in. Let me get some super clean on it, and then we'll come back and wash it. All right, fellas, you know the routine, the old super clean. So what I'd like to do is just go over it. This is the foamy in the spray bottle, not the spray can. So I'm going to go over it and just wet everything down. It's pretty nasty. And then I'm going to go put the, something just flew out. This is nasty. So I'm going to hit a bunch of this stuff. Then the foamy. There's not a lot to do. Most of this is in good shape. Uh-oh. Oh, that's spinning. Look at that. So that's good. So that the Bendix is spinning. Usually they lock up. It's been sitting a long time, fellas. Oh, that's all nasty. It's just all kind of wrong. Look at that. I should be wearing gloves, though. You should have gloves. Look, fellas, it's the foamy in this squeeze bottle. All you have to do is just squeeze. I like this stuff. It just sits, right? And then just leave it to sit. And then I can go have coffee and a snack. Isn't that nice? It just feels good to be able to like squirt this stuff on and then walk away and let it's magic. And then we'll pressure wash with our Mr. Lance, the pressure Lance, the water Lance. All right, that little bit of water that's in the engine, hopefully, you know, I don't think that's going to be a problem. All right, we're good. I don't think it's going to be a problem. All right, we still got to do the underneath more. Hold on, we got to get down here. It's one of those fall days out. It's nasty. It's all overcast. All right, that's good. Doesn't have to be mint. We just want to we want to delouse it. No lice allowed. Yeah, this is the satisfying part, right? Getting that goop. Watch. All right, I got it on its back, and I just need to blow underneath there, right underneath there. I know this is some junk. We'll flip it on its face, well, on its feet. Oh man, look at that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bros. Right? You got to get these things out. They just wind up in your clothes and whatever. Let me kill that. Okay, murder has been completed. I know it's horrible, but they just get so deep in. There was a lot of junk packed in here. I got that out. Everything looks pretty good. I don't even see, I mean, we got to get it closer, but I think even the belt is in good shape, but that's why we want to get in closer. But it's starting to rain, so just a quick other rinse. I really don't see issues with it. It's certainly worthy of fixing. And if I sell it, it's probably worthy of that person fixing too, if I don't ask a lot for it. All right, let me finish up. All right, I got it strung out. Is it going to pull it? Right, well, it'll pull it, but am I going to be able to control it? Let's find out. I also got it chained to the workbench too, over there. So we'll have to guide the wire. I just had to reload the spool because I pulled it out in freewheel. And I guess it needed it anyway because it got all bunched up. Let's find out. Yeah, it's pulling it. Let's give it a little guiding hand. Can I reach it? Yeah, I can pretty much reach it, just about. I can reach it. That's not bad. All right, let me reposition it. We'll get it up on the... I want to re-spool that too. Oh yeah, much better. Oh, we're hitting... I gotta lift it up a little bit. I think the deck is hitting. There we go. Looks pretty cool, right? It's a neat little machine. So this thing, we need to make a cable guide because this is crap. and it gets bunched up and it got behind here. So we need to make like a cable guide that we can mount to this piece of steel that I was talking about. Let me turn the light on. It's getting late. Anyway, so it's up and I didn't have to hurt my back, especially at the end of the day, long week, Saturday. Now, we need to find out, fellas, if this thing's any good, right? You could see stripping, it's been outside in the rain. So I finished it up that day, got it nice and wet, and then it got left in the rain because it got late and then it poured all day. And we can get that fuzz off with an aluminum cleaner, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the carburetor off. Also, there was a lot of water laying in the bottom of this, and then we also need to spin it over, check for spark, and also we need to do a compression test. So we got a bunch of things to do. We're going to take this off and this off. There could be water laying right down in here, so if we spin it over, it'll suck a charge of water in. That's going to be a problem because it can't compress water. So we'll try all that out and evaluate to see if we have something to work with here. It looks nice. It's in overall good shape. These tires are not, I can't get the bead set, so we're going to have to work on that. That's a separate problem. Let's get started. All right, fellas, to save a little time, I'm going to get started. So I'm going to unbolt this here. To get to these bolts, we'll take this off. I got to peel back those guys, try and remove all of that, pull the plug. We'll take a peek in the carburetor in a little bit. There's another bolt over here for the carb. It helps support this tube, the intake tube, manifold. We got a, yeah, we'll keep working that angle and see what we come up with. All right, a nice stick. All right, I got this one broke loose. Muffler's off, that's off. And probably gonna puke water. Well, so far, we're getting something going. All right, we'll get a little release agent. Release agent. I figure even though it's late and it's Saturday, right, at least I can find out a few things before the end of the day. Oh boy, there goes the water pipe. We need to get, oh man, why didn't I do something first? Hold on. Well, so much for that. You know, I kind of knew that was going to happen, so why didn't I just get like a rag? I don't know where it's going. It's filling up, I think it, oh crap. I think it's filling up a pulley, the top of a pulley, so we're going to have to blow that out. It's a lot, you probably can't see it. It's all in the motor. So that's why I say this motor might be shot, and if it is, oh man. Oh, wait till I get you guys in here. And it's probably sitting on top of the drive pulley. Yeah. Yeah, we got issues. Well, let me get this. I'm gonna make a mess. Let's pull this off. And this is probably shot. Come here, you. Why are you giving me hardtack? It's just stuck. Let's get some lube cant on it. Let's bring that over. And then I want to show you. It's all sitting on top of that pulley. Okay, that's just what I caught. Right? Some stuff is still dripping out, but it's on top of this, whatever this is here, which is probably a pulley. So we'll have to blow that out. I'll get a rag and I'm going to mop this up. I wouldn't be surprised if the valve is stuck. So let's also pull the plug and let me clean this up a little bit. Get a rag or something, try to get rid of some of this water. We'll pull the plug, blow all this out, and then if we got to turn it over. It does turn over, not very well, but we'll find out. All right, plug came out. I think you can see it, but it's chunky and rusty. All right. Now I'm going to move you, and we'll see if we can spin things. You can see it dripping. I don't want to be in your way, but yeah, she's stiff. Oh my. Why is it so stiff? It could be clutch. Ooh, you hear that? Oh, look at the water. Yeah, all right. I think what we need to do, let me get, I'm going to take a peek in there. Oh, puke coming out. Oh boy. That was, yeah, that motor shot. I am just not ready for this. Yeah, I bet you that cylinder wall's no good. All right. I want to take a look inside the carburetor real quick. I'm just going to go over to the table and I'll just open up and I'll show you inside. But I'm willing to bet that it rusted the motor pretty good. So we'll pop the head on it. And I don't think I'm going to re-put another motor on. I don't think it's worth it. But we'll go in there and take a look and see. Be back in a bit. All right, believe it or not, fellas, that's not terrible. That might be rebuildable. I have seen much worse. I mean, it's gooked. All right, we got to... I just whizzed-wheeled off these connections, right, so they're clean. We're going to pop a battery in it and see if we can get it to kick. We'll probably have to go through some of the interlocks or whatever, but we get it to kick, and I cleaned up some of the mess that spilled. There's a lot of junk in there. Let me turn this light on. I'll see if I can get that other camera. The valves are moving, right? So I blew out some of the junk in there. We'll put some lubricant in, turn it over, see if we can get some compression after we spin it. Okay, so just to back up, plugs out, we see some movement. I see over here, I've wired up a battery. I'm not getting proper power to the solenoid. I bypassed the solenoid and the solenoid is sticky. It's not really making contact. I think the starter motor's trying to move. I kind of just jumped it out, but she's kind of stuck in the up position. And when I go to turn, yeah, she's stuck here. Like, she's got issues. Let's take this off. So we got electrical issues. We got to get that head off because I think it's just going to be a dead motor. So I'm going to pull that head, fellas, and I'll bring you back and we'll take a peek. Yeah. Let's get a 1/2 inch on my other impact and I'll blast them off. I'll be back. This is a standard S&K socket. Non-impact. Yeah, they fit. Ooh, little washers on it. Oh my. Yeah, well, we expected that. All right, now we can see. Oh man. Yeah, she's dead. Oh. Yep, there it is. All right, let me get you in. Now. The funny thing is, I don't see anything like pitting. We might have caught it. We need a gasket though, but we might have caught it. Let me get you in. First, I just want you to take a peek in there. All right, but the problem also is that there's water in the oil. And we don't know what damage is down inside. We could drop the oil and take a peek, but that oil's sitting in there. It might clean up. We're going to need a gasket. I don't have one for this size. We can order something. But let me get you in with the other camera. Yeah, this is like staining. It may have damaged the rings. I'll wipe it out with a tissue and a rag and see if that helps, you know, and then we'll determine. I just want you to see in there. So I cleaned it out. My concern would be the valve seat. In here it's not as bad as I thought. It's spinning a little bit better now that I wiped it out, but I still got that spot down below, and I'm wondering if it's maybe just a belt. But right here, it's very sticky. And we'd have to take the valves out and pull the springs, and then I don't have a valve grinding or a seat grinder, but we would have to lap it. And there's a lot of rust in there, and I suspect there's something down below. Also, I think the starter motor's dead. Trying to jump this thing out, and it's not really happening. Okay. Yeah, she's not working. So you'd have to have a starter motor. Probably could take the starter motor apart and clean it up, but you'd have to have a starter motor. You know, I think you get to a point where, and then we don't know if the training's any good. This motor is compromised, fellas. So I'm going to sit and think about it. I have use for the tires. I could put them on another snapper and go steal those tires from my tractor. So it might just be, this is a labor of love. They're only worth for a couple $100, maybe $200-300 max. If the motor wasn't dead, because that's a lot of rust. So that material came from somewhere. It's too bad, because putting another motor on it would be a better idea. That would be something that, but preferably like a Tecumseh, but I don't think I have. Most of my motors are like 17 horsepower, unless I grab a motor from one of the little tractors or something, but it's not really worth it. Like, you know, I don't think it's going to be worth it, so I think it's going to be a parts machine. I'm going to think about it tonight. I just wanted to show you. Let's spin this down a little bit. And I've tried putting lubricant in there, and I don't think it doesn't need any more lubricant, right? You got to check the battery voltage though. Oh, there we go. I think we're going to need another battery. This battery might be dead, but she's spinning. A little bit of welding going on. She might need another battery. Let me check the battery voltage. I have to think about it tonight. I just don't know what else to say. Oh, look, there's Doggy. He wants to go in. All right, guys, it's a couple of days later, so I had a chance to think about it a little bit. And so we got good news and bad news, right? We know what the bad news, you know, pretty much is. There's damage here. But I think the good news is, look, I've seen worse. And maybe some of you guys watching other people's, it doesn't really matter whether it's an old diesel tractor or payloader or something. We see this a lot, right? And I've seen it a lot, and I have seen worse. So let's move forward. Here's my plan. So it's like Monday morning or afternoon, and I'm tired and shot from the weekend, so I'm going to go slow. Here's what I did. I ordered a head gasket, and I ordered tubes for the front tires. I generally don't play with tubes, so I think I got the right ones. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, we got to deal with. I figure putting tubes in is our best bet, because I remember these things just keep leaking, and then there's such small rims that as soon as they start to leak, they kind of de-rim the bead brakes, and whoever buys this thing is not going to be able to handle that. If we can get tubes in there, then they're going to hold air, and it's going to stay inflated, and the tires aren't bad, but most of the damages come from them going flat. So hopefully I ordered the right tubes. I don't know much about tubes. Like I said, I generally don't use them. Got the head gasket coming. I did forget to order more valve grinding compound, but I might have enough if we need to use it. We're going to clean the combustion chamber, and we're going to clean, or I'm going to do it, because you guys get away with all of this dirty, filthy crap. It's bad in here. It's like it's all caked up around the valve and here, and I don't know if you can see it, but hold on. It's all up and around this valve. I don't have the light on. Should I put the light on to show you? Oh, look at that, look at that. It looks worse than it is, I think. So let me clean that. I want to clean the muffler, acid etch it, and we'll put my favorite high temp Rust-Oleum paint on, because that stuff is just great. And you're thinking, well, why would you do that now, Art? Because it's off and I'm going to clean it. It needs to be cleaned, and I might as well do that. And like I said, I want to have a little fun. This thing's in beautiful shape. If we get it running, we can purdy this thing up a little. It'll sell, it'll be desirable. Maybe not this year, but I think it's a worthy machine. So I'm going to do that. and clean up a couple other things in here, fellas. I'll bring you in when I'm ready. I have the battery on charge, just a trickle charger, you know, one of these cheesy little things that work pretty good. They're like float chargers. I'm a little suspect of the solenoid, the starting solenoid. I got in, Mikey gave me a couple of really garbage tractors the other day, and I can get at one of these solenoids easily, well, relatively easy. It's wet out and it rains, so it's going to be a pain in the neck, but later on when it dries up a little bit, I want to go out there and rescue that and then retest this thing. We'll do it together. I think the starter motor will work if it has enough juice, so if we have to put a bigger battery charger on it, we want to clean the engine up a little bit more, get in there, we're going to wash it out, we're going to wire wheel, we're going to hone it. I want to check spark, we want to go over that and the magnets and de-rust. I also am going to drop the oil in a little bit, just let that pee out today. Maybe even get a jack underneath it and tilt it, and let's go see what's in there. So we've got a bunch of things to do. Let me get started and I'll be back in a little bit. I'll bring you guys in, you know, when it's appropriate. I'll see you in a minute. All right, moving along. All right, so I got this treated, cleaned with super clean, and then acid etched, and that's just to get rid of a bit of the surface rust and to get it so that the paint will stick. Now, it looks like it's going to storm again, so we're going to paint this later. I got the thing jacked up, as I said before. We got some of that yuck coming out. I got this cleaned up. We don't need to make it any cleaner than that, fellas, right? You're not looking for, you know, prizes here. Trying to remove any burrs on your scraper, so I scraped that off. Especially, you know, on the piston it's not such a big deal, but on the gasket surface, I just sharpened it on my sharpening stone. We'll get in these areas in a bit. Let's just do a quick run. It may not seal. There is some pitting on it. Yeah, that's not good. All right, we need to take that out. Well, the rest of it looks like it's okay, but let's try honing it too a little bit and see what condition the cylinder wall is in. This light. Don't go fast, guys. I see some people, they throw these things up so fast. None of them, you know, those honing and boring machines ever go quick. All right, and we can wipe it out now. Yeah, it kicked up like a slurry. I'll show you what that slurry looks like. Let's get that slurry out. Well, it wasn't very much oil in it, considering, and the oil actually that was in it isn't absolutely terrible. It was mostly water. So either there is some leak, wicked leak or something of oil, or I don't know why there isn't more oil in it. It should have quite a bit. See, that's the staining I don't like. Now, we can do a little bit more honing, but I just wanted to do enough to just kind of get in there and look. We could probably do a little bit more honing, and then we'll try and put a bit of a crosshatch on it and get some oil into this thing, and then we'll pop that valve out. And it's questionable, but, you know, keep in mind that as an engine wears, right, it'll wear away old scratches and put new ones in. So it'll actually wear. There's no ridge here, right? There's no ridge. Usually you would see a ridge here. So this motor is not old. This machine is not... It doesn't have a lot of hours on it, is a better way to say it. So we can pull a little bit more of that material off. It got water in it. Somebody let it die and it sat. All right, fellas, end of the first episode. We can see we have a motor that's got a lot of problems in it, and, you know, dealing with the valves, the combustion chamber, the cylinder wall, and it's a big question as to whether it'll run. Will it be reliable? How bad is it? How do we get it kind of back within some kind of spec and make it work properly that's going to be reliable, right? It's very questionable, and I suspected this was the case. But it is an older machine, and it is kind of cool, and it's made in the United States, and you know, they're a rare breed. And this thing, I'm sure you guys, from looking at it, you'll agree that overall, it's got its problems, but overall, it's in really good shape. Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, and I'm going to tell you by the time we get to the end, there's no real money involved in any of this. There's a little bit of money. I threw a little bit of money at it. Very little. It's not really about the money. It's about the time and the expertise and about having fun, fellas. Don't do it if you're not going to enjoy it, right? And it is fun doing this stuff. I can't always kind of sequester the time together in one spot to do something like this because it's a big project. But it is kind of a cool machine, and so I'm looking forward to kind of getting it all together at some point someday, and then I'll use it for a time and I'll probably pass it along to the next person, which is kind of what I do. I always try to keep something for myself, and I don't know if this is going to be one of those moments where I get to keep this machine, you know, where it becomes mine. But it'll be mine for a while, and as with everything in life, fellas, we really are just stewards, right? Because we can't take it with us when we go. So we're really just stewards, stewards of the property, of the earth. You know, this is my garden, and so I'm going to have some fun. Let's come on back for part 2. We'll dig into the motor a little bit more, and yeah, definitely come on back, right? Because you might be surprised. I don't want to give it away. I'll see you guys then.